The first thing you should know is that the McDonald's I work at was never supposed to reopen. Everyone in town remembers the fire, how it started in the kitchen at 2:13 a.m., how the night crew tried to escape, but only one person made it out, and how he refused to talk about what actually happened. He left town a week later, no explanation, no goodbye. So when the corporate office announced the restaurant would reopen after 3 years sealed shut, people whispered. Some protested, most just avoided driving near it once night fell. I should have listened to them, but I needed the job badly. Rent was past due. My car was 2 payments away from repossession, and I was living off microwaved packets of ramen. So when the manager called back and said they had one opening overnight shift, $17/HR plus a bonus if I stayed a full month, I didn't care about town rumors or ghost stories. I cared about keeping a roof over my head. But on my first night, I realized why nobody else wanted the job. Because taped to the inside of my locker, written in red marker on a grease-stained sheet of paper was a list. A list titled, and as soon as I read them, my stomach tightened into a fist so cold it hurt. If you see something looking back, it will follow you home. The handwriting was uneven, like the writer had scribbled fast, or with shaking hands. I stood there, rereading that first rule over and over. Look away from the windows, see something looking back, follow me home. A joke, right? Some night shift prank. I hoped so. God, I hoped so. But there was more. Do not open it. I swallowed hard. That one didn't feel like a joke. Not even a little. Who writes something like that unless they're warning someone? I moved to the next rule, but the locker room suddenly felt too small, like the walls had inched closer when I wasn't watching. Politely tell them the ice cream machine is down, then close the window. Do not take their money. The air felt wrong, too still, like the entire restaurant was holding its breath. Children's meals, not a happy meal. The distinction made something in my chest tighten. I tried to laugh it off. Just a prank, maybe a messed up hazing ritual. But then I reached the next rule, and this one made my skin crawl. Do not enter, do not respond, do not look inside. The play place had been closed for years, boarded up. No kids allowed, no adults either. Nothing should be in there. No one should be able to speak there. I felt a bead of sweat slide down my neck, even though the room wasn't hot. Only one rule left. I raised the crumpled page, and the red ink seemed darker than before, as though the letters themselves were bleeding. Check the security mirror above the exit. If your reflection is smiling, do not go outside. Call the manager. Do not break eye contact. My mouth went dry. Reflections don't smile on their own. Reflections don't do anything on their own. I stood frozen in place, staring at the paper like it might bite me. Suddenly, a voice behind me said, "You read the rules." I jumped. It was the day manager, a tired guy in his 50s with deep eye bags and a voice like gravel. He leaned on the doorframe, watching me with an expression I couldn't read. I nodded. Good. He said, "Follow them exactly. The night shift gets weird." Is this some kind of joke? I asked. He didn't smile, not even a twitch. No, he said quietly, "I wish it was." A chill cut straight down my spine. That night, I turned on the dining room lights at 11:00 p.m. I looked away from the windows like the rules said. But I swear on my life as I turned, something tapped the glass behind me. 3 slow, deliberate taps. My hand shook the rest of the night. At 1:02 a.m., the freezer began knocking, and it wasn't random, it was rhythmic. Like someone trapped inside was knocking in a pattern, begging to be let out. I pressed my back against the opposite wall and covered my ears. At 2:41 a.m., the headset crackled. A voice whispered, fresh children's meal, please. My entire body locked up. I did what the rule said. I whispered, "Sorry, the ice cream machine is down," and slammed the window shut. But the worst part was at 3:17 a.m. A voice drifted from the play place, a woman's voice. Calm, warm, familiar. She whispered my name, my real name, the name I hadn't told anyone here. "Come inside," she said gently. "I've missed you." I backed away so fast I tripped over my own feet. I didn't go near the play place again. By the time 5:00 a.m. came, I was shaking so hard I could barely clock out. I stepped toward the exit, heart pounding against my ribs like it was trying to escape. I looked up slowly at the security mirror. My reflection stared back. It had my clothes, my posture, my face, but it wasn't me because it was smiling. I wasn't. I ran. I fled into the break room, locked the door, and called the manager like the final rule said. When he arrived 10 minutes later, he didn't ask questions. He didn't lecture me. He simply walked to the exit, stared up at the mirror, and whispered, "Not again." Then he turned to me. "Kid," he said, "I need you to listen carefully." He looked like he was about to tell me something that would change everything. Something he'd hoped he'd never have to say again. Something that might answer the final question burning in my mind. What happened in this place 3 years ago, and why did only one person survive that fire? The manager's face was pale as he stared at the security mirror. Pale in a way that didn't match the fluorescent lights or the early morning exhaustion. It was the kind of pale people get when they're remembering something they've spent years trying to forget. I swallowed, my voice barely a whisper. "What is it?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he motioned for me to follow, and we stepped into his office. He locked the door behind us. The room was cluttered, papers stacked high, old training manuals, a cracked photo frame face down on his desk. The air smelled like stale coffee and something metallic, something cold. He sat down heavily and rubbed his temples. "You met it," he said finally, "your first night, and it already noticed you." "My reflection." He nodded. "That wasn't your reflection. It was using your reflection. There's a difference." Every hair on my body stood up. "What is it?" I asked. "And what the hell is going on here?" He let out a long, tired sigh. "Sit down, kid. You're owed an explanation, or at least as much as I understand." I sat. My knees felt weak. The world felt unreal. He leaned back and looked at the ceiling like he was searching for the right words. 3 years ago, he began, we had a night crew of 7, hard workers, joked around, kept each other awake. They treated this place like a second home. His voice cracked on that last sentence. One night around the holidays, one of the fryers malfunctioned around 2 a.m. At least that's what the corporate said. The whole kitchen went up in flames. Sprinklers failed. Doors jammed. He paused, but that's not what really happened. The room felt colder, like someone had turned the AC to the lowest setting. I rubbed my arms, he continued. The survivor, a kid named Eric. He was the one who made it out, barely. They found him in the parking lot, shaking, screaming about something in the glass. I stiffened. "In the mirror?" I asked. "Glass," he corrected. "Windows, mirrors, anything reflective." He said something came out of the play place first. Something that could mimic voices. Something that looked like a child at first, but wasn't. He lowered his voice. Then it started appearing in reflections, behind them, watching, smiling. My stomach dropped. I thought of the tapping on the windows, of the voice in the play place calling my name, of the reflection smiling when I wasn't. "What happened to him?" I asked. The manager looked down. Eric lasted 3 days before he checked himself into a psychiatric hospital. He hung himself the next week. I covered my mouth. "What about the fire? How did it start?" His eyes moved to that face-down photo frame. He said the thing in the reflection tricked one of the crew members. made him think someone was inside the freezer. He opened it. The room felt like it tilted. And whatever he let out, the manager shook his head. It wasn't human. Silence, heavy, suffocating. Finally, he spoke again. "Look, kid, I've been working here since before you were born. I know how insane this sounds, but you saw it. You saw the smile." I nodded slowly. He leaned across the desk. "You must follow the rules, no shortcuts, no curiosity. That thing, whatever it is, it notices when people slip. And if it knows your face now, it'll try again." My mouth was dry. Try what? He didn't hesitate to replace you. The single fluorescent bulb flickered overhead. I jumped. He didn't. "All right," he said, standing and grabbing his keys. "We're leaving together. Stay close, no matter what you see." We stepped back into the hallway. The restaurant was dark except for the emergency lights, dim red bars glowing along the floor. At the exit, he motioned for me to wait. He climbed a step ladder and tilted the security mirror downward so it caught only the ceiling. "Can't risk it seeing you again," he muttered. We walked out together into the Earl, a morning gray, and he locked the doors behind us. I exhaled shakily, thinking it was over. But right as we were walking to our cars, I heard something. Something so faint, I nearly convinced myself I imagined it. A whisper coming from behind the locked glass doors. It said my name, my real name. The manager grabbed my arm hard. "Don't turn around." I froze. "Get in your car," he said. "Look straight ahead. Drive home. Do not check your mirrors until you're inside with the lights on." My hands shook as I fumbled for my keys. Then, just before I got in, he added, "And kid, don't come back tonight." "Are you firing me?" I asked. "No," he said softly. "I'm trying to keep you alive." I drove home with my eyes fixed on the road, terrified to look in the rear-view mirror. Once inside my apartment, I turned on every single light. Only then did I check the mirror. My reflection looked normal. No smile, no wrongness, alone, safe for now. I slept for maybe an hour before my phone buzzed. A text from the manager, "Call me ASAP. Something happened during the opening shift. We need to talk." But the message below it, the one sent 10 minutes later, made my blood run cold, because it wasn't from him. It came from an unknown number, same area code, and it read, "You didn't say goodbye." The unknown number's message stared back at me like it was alive. "You didn't say goodbye." 6 words that hollowed out my chest. My apartment suddenly felt too quiet, too still, like someone had pressed the mute button on reality. I checked the peephole. Nothing. I checked my hallway. Empty. I checked my bedroom, bathroom, and closet. Everything is normal, but normal things don't send you messages they shouldn't know. No one at the restaurant knew my number. No one on staff knew my real name besides the manager, who definitely didn't send it. And whatever whispered my name from behind the locked doors, I knew it. Knew me. Knew how to reach me. My phone buzzed again. I flinched so hard I dropped it. Another message. This time, it was from the manager. "Call now." I picked it up immediately. He answered on the first ring. "Where are you?" he demanded. "Home," I whispered. "Why?" There was a shaky breath. His voice dropped lower. "Are your blinds closed?" I froze. "No," I said slowly. "Close them." He said, "Every window, right now." Something in his tone forced my legs into motion. I rushed from room to room, snapping every blind shut until my entire apartment was sealed from the outside world. "Okay," I said breathlessly. "They're closed." There was a pause, a long one. Then, "Don't panic," he said. But whatever messaged you, it wasn't me, and it wasn't a person. My skin prickled. "What happened at the restaurant?" I whispered. He didn't answer at first. I could hear him pacing, shoes thudding on tile. Finally, he said, "Something was off when I opened this morning. I noticed the security mirror was angled down like something was trying to see under it. Blood rushed in my ears. But that's not the worst part, he continued. The freezer door was open. I felt sick. Even worse, he whispered. Someone walked into the play place last night. What? My voice cracked. Who? Footprints, small ones, leading in, but none coming out. I pictured the voice that called my name. Soft, calm, familiar, manager, I said, voice trembling. I heard it. Last night, in the play place, I know. He exhaled shakily. It's targeting you now. My heart thudded painfully. Why me? I didn't break any rules. You didn't need to, he said. The first time it sees someone new, it latches, it tests them, watches, learns. It's probably already trying to mimic you. I swallowed hard. Why did it message me? Because you ran, he said. It hates being ignored. Something about that made my stomach twist. Okay, I whispered. So what do I do now? His answer didn't comfort me. Nothing, he said. Lay low. Don't answer unknown numbers. Don't look at any dark reflective surfaces, even when you think it's safe. I sat down slowly. Manager, what does it want? He took so long to answer that I thought the call had dropped. Then he said, to take your place. The room spun. To become you, he added, to walk in your skin. The last time it replaced someone, the others didn't even notice until it was too late. I squeezed my eyes shut. What happened to the replaced person? I asked. His voice was small, broken. They burned, he whispered. From the inside out. A chill crept down my spine, so cold it hurt. Just when I was about to respond, I heard it. A sound from my living room. Soft, slow, deliberate, tap, 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 like a single finger tapping on glass. My blinds were closed. My windows are locked. There shouldn't have been anything tapping. Manager, I whispered. Something's at my window. He inhaled sharply. Don't approach it, he said. Don't speak to it. Don't let it hear your. The tapping grew faster, more urgent, more impatient. Then tap, 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 tap. I covered my mouth. Manager, I whispered, it knows I'm here. The tapping suddenly stopped. Silence. Then a voice spoke from the other side of the blinds. Not a whisper. Not distorted, not monstrous. It was my own voice, perfectly replicated. Let me in. I dropped the phone. My heart thrashed wildly, so loud I thought whatever was outside could hear it. The manager's faint voice crackled from the speaker. Don't let it see you. Don't. But I didn't hear the rest. Because something slid under the door. Something thin, white, crinkled, a note. Written in the same red ink as the rules taped inside the locker. I picked it up with shaking fingers. There were only 4 words. The note felt warm. That was the first thing I noticed. Paper shouldn't feel warm, especially not when it had just been slid through a drafty apartment door. But the thin sheet in my hand pulsed faintly, like it had been resting against skin, or something pretending to have skin. My breath came out in stutters. I stared at the words until my eyes blurred. The letters were uneven, as if written hurriedly, but also strangely familiar. The handwriting looked like my own. I staggered back from the door, nearly tripping over my coffee table. My phone was still on the carpet, the manager's voice frantically calling my name through the speaker. I grabbed it. There's a note. I whispered, it says Rule 6, but there are only 5 rules. The manager didn't speak. Then, very quietly, oh God. My pulse hammered in my ears. What does that mean? I asked. What does too late mean? His voice shook. It means it's already inside. My knees nearly buckled. No, I whispered. No, the door's locked. The windows are. The thing doesn't need doors. He cut in. Once it learns someone's shape, once it mimics their voice perfectly, it can move through reflective surfaces. Any of them. A phone screen, a microwave door, a TV that's turned off. I stared across the room. My TV screen, black, glossy, reflective, pointed directly at me. A chill crawled up my spine. Manager, I whispered, what do I do? The tapping at the window returned. but this time it wasn't tapping. It was scratching, slow, deliberate, dragging scratches that sounded like fingernails trying to peel the glass away from the frame. The manager's voice rose an octave. Get away from any reflective surface. Don't look at screens. Don't look at metal. Don't look at glass. What about mirrors? Especially mirrors. I covered my phone screen with my hand, even though the call was still active. The scratching grew faster. Hungrier? You need a safe room, he said. Somewhere dark. Somewhere with no reflections. Bathroom, closet, anything. My bathroom has a mirror. Cover it, smash it, break every reflective surface if you have to. I ran toward the bathroom, phone pressed between my shoulder and ear, heart crashing against my ribs. Behind me, something thumped against my living room window. Hard, then again, and again. Something was trying to get in. Manager, please go, he barked, move. I burst into the bathroom and slammed the door behind me. My shower curtain was half reflective, so I tore it down. I yanked a towel from the rack and threw it over the mirror. The towel slid down, like it had been brushed away by an unseen hand. The mirror was uncovered again. My heart plummeted. Manager, I whispered, the towel won't stay. Something's pushing it off. Don't look at it, he shouted. I shut my eyes, fumbling blindly along the wall, searching for anything to cover it. Then the bathroom light flickered. Just once, but in that instant, I saw something reflected in the mirror. Not clearly, not fully, just enough. Long fingers curling around the glass, a smile too wide, eyes shaped like mine but empty. I squeezed my eyes shut and screamed. It's here, I choked out. It's in the mirror, a bang. Something slammed into the bathroom door once. Twice, a third time harder, the hinges rattled. Manager. I shouted, panic rising like bile. It's coming in, what do I do? For a moment, all I heard was my own breathing. Wild, uneven, terrified. Then the manager spoke, voice low and hollow. You can't run from a reflection, he said. It goes where you go. Something about his tone chilled me. Manager. Another slam hit the bathroom door, hard enough to splinter the wood. The manager's voice on the phone grew quieter, calmer. Wrong, you should open the door, he said softly. It's rude to ignore yourself. My chest tightened. Manager, I whispered, that's not you. A faint chuckle crackled through the speaker. Deep, cold, my voice. You really think I needed the mirror? It said. You really think I wasn't already in the phone? The bathroom door cracked down the middle. I dropped the phone. A single thought screamed through my head. Don't look, don't look, don't look. But then I heard it, right behind me, standing in the dark. My own voice whispered directly into my ear. When the reflection whispered behind me, every muscle in my body turned to stone. Let's switch places. Its breath wasn't warm. It wasn't cold either. It was nothing, like air that didn't belong to this world. Slowly, too slowly, I turned my head. I shouldn't have. I knew that. But terror works like gravity. The more you resist, the harder it pulls. The bathroom was dark except for the hallway light pouring through the cracked door. Dust floated in the beam like drifting snow. And in that dim, fractured light, I saw me, standing inches away, not in the mirror, not in a reflection, not behind me, in front of me. It had stepped out. It was taller than me by half an inch. Its head tilted at a slightly wrong angle, like the bones inside weren't shaped the same. And it was smiling, too wide, too calm, as if wearing my face was comforting in a way it wasn't supposed to be. I stumbled backward until my spine hit the tile, then it spoke again. My voice twisted into something soft and wrong. You don't have to be afraid. I've done this before. My throat tightened. This isn't real, I whispered. This isn't happening. Oh, it said, stepping closer. It's very real, and it's very simple. I go out there. It pointed to the hallway, and you go in here. It tapped the bathroom mirror gently. The glass rippled, not cracked, rip, pled, like the surface of a lake. A cold shiver pulsed through the room. I shook my head violently. No, why me? Why are you doing this? The thing frowned with my face puzzled. Because you came to me. I didn't, you did. It interrupted, stepping closer. You looked away from the windows. You listened to the freezer. You heard me in the play place. You followed every rule, but you were still curious. Its smile returned. I love curious ones. My stomach twisted. Curiosity makes you look. It whispered, makes you listen, makes you answer. It raised a hand toward my cheek. Its fingers were too long. Stop, I yelled. The reflection flinched, not from fear, but from irritation, like I'd interrupted a pleasant thought. You humans treat your skin like cages. It murmured. I'm offering you something better. It leaned close. Lips at my ear, freedom. My heartbeat thundered so loudly I felt it in my teeth. The bathroom door behind it groaned, splintering from the outside. But something was wrong, something new. The thing turned its head confused, like it wasn't expecting someone else to break it down. Then boom, the door tore inward, exploding inwards like someone kicked it in. I screamed. The reflection spun around. And standing in the broken doorway was a man. Not the manager, not anyone I'd ever seen. But he looked like he'd been waiting for this moment his entire life. Tall, broad-shouldered, covered in dust and grime like he'd been crawling through vents or under buildings. One eye was swollen shut, the other was ice, cold and focused on the thing wearing my face. He held a crowbar in one hand, and in his other hand a small plastic device blinked with a red LED. He glared at the reflection. Step away from him, he growled. The reflection hissed, an inhuman sound vibrating beneath my stolen voice. You're supposed to be dead. It spat. The man smirked. Yeah, he said, I get that a lot. He turned to me briefly. You the new night shift kid. I blinked, shaking uncontrollably. WH, who are you? He didn't look away from the reflection. My name's Eric. My blood ran cold. Eric the survivor. I whispered. He nodded once, and then the device in his hand began to beep faster. The reflection's smile snapped back into something sharp and hateful. You can't stop me, it whispered. He's already marked. Eric stepped forward. I don't need to stop you, he said. He held up the beeping device. I just need to drag you back. The reflection lunged. Eric pressed the trigger. A blinding flash filled the bathroom white, strobing, vibrating like the light itself was bending. The reflection screamed. Its shape wavered, crunched inward, collapsed like a shadow being sucked into the floor. It clawed at the mirror, at the walls, at the air, and then it was gone. The light snapped off. Silence. Only the sound of my own ragged breathing remained. I staggered to the floor, legs giving out. Eric didn't help me up. He just looked down at me, breathing hard, wiping blood from his chin. You need to get dressed, he said. We're leaving in 5 minutes. I blinked up at him. What was that thing? He shook his head. That wasn't the thing, he said quietly. That was just the part it lets you see. He knelt, leveling his one good eye with mine. You want the truth? He asked. I nodded. Eric exhaled. It's not haunting you, he said. It's hunting for McDonald's. My skin prickled. What does that mean? He stood, cracking his neck as if preparing for war. Everything starts tonight, he said, and you're already part of it, whether you like it or not. He grabbed the device off the floor. Get your shoes on, kid. We're going back to the restaurant. My chest constricted. Why? Eric looked at me with an expression that was neither anger nor fear. It was a resignation, because, he said, that thing doesn't give up a marked target. He opened my door, checking the hallway, and the safest place for you now is the place it wants most, McDonald's.